Hey, thanks for tuning in to Larger Curves today. Make sure you smash that like button and smash the subscribe button. While you're at it, you can hit the bell so you can get notified next time I upload a video. I really appreciate you taking your time to stop by, and I'm begging for likes and for subscriptions over here. So anything you can do to help a sister out, I appreciate. So today, I want to talk to you about Ebony K. Williams from The Real Housewives of New York City. They are in their what's turning out to be unlucky season 13, okay? And the ratings are tanking, and everybody is thanking Ebony K. Williams for it. And I don't think that it's called for. Mostly because all she is fabulous. All she is the first, as they keep reminding us, Black housewife on the franchise in the entire 13 seasons. And now all the other co-stars that have been on the series for many, many years. I believe that Ramona is the only OG left, Ramona Singer. And she's also the most, how should we put it? I think I'll say affected by Ebony K. Williams and her blackness. I mean, she let it slip that she calls people to help. She did it freely in front of Ebony. And then in the confessional said, "I'm not stupid. I know the help is a derogatory term." Basically, she said it in the confessional. So would you use it for Ramona? And why is it Ebony's fault that you use that word? And then people might now look at you through the lens of something racial implied. I'm not sure what, but it's not Ebony's fault. And it's not Ebony's fault that she has to keep schooling you ladies on her existence and not allow you to just treat her any old kind of way. She's setting up healthy boundaries, I think. And healthy boundaries are very, very necessary with these ladies, okay? We all know that far too well on any of the housewife franchises. Setting up your boundaries is the equivalent to when you walk into, in the movies, when the person goes to away to the jail or whatever, and they have to go and attack the alpha person on the yard, and that way they affect their dominance and hopefully keep any people that would look at them weak and try to jump them, keep them at bay, and hopefully come off like, I'm big and tough, So, but they're attacking Ebony in a way that is unwarranted. They're blaming her for these low ratings. No, it's because you're boring. Like Bershawn said, you're acting like grandmas. Maybe that's the reason the ratings are low. Ebony doesn't have anything to do with your grandma behavior. Believe that. That has zero to do with Ebony K. Williams. She is not the problem. These pictures that we've been scrolling through here are actual ratings for seasons past to present, and very rarely has New York ever been in the top 3 even. So their ratings suffering has nothing to do with Ebony, okay? I'm showing us proof right here. So they need to stop blaming the nearest Black person for what obviously has nothing to do with her. And the proof is right here that, look, last year they were only ranked number 4 in the whole season out of all of the franchises. So it is not Ebony K. Williams' fault, and they need to let the melanin goddess be existing in her fun self and stop grilling her all the time and making such glaring mistakes and crossing such boundaries that she has to correct you. Because there's no way that a Black person should have to, for one, hear you refer to somebody as the help. And then, for two, because she had to mention it to you, that that's not okay she does not want her ears to hear that. The same way Ramona doesn't want to hear vagina, Ebony doesn't want to hear the help. But that's a problem. You see, that's part of the white fragility, that Ramona feels entitled to ask and require everybody to not talk about human anatomy, but then sit and expect Ebony to not ask or voice her dissatisfaction with conversation topics or whatever also. There's a two-edged sword, and it's called white fragility meet black power. And I love Ebony K. Williams. Well, anyway, okay. So this IG Live that we're about to listen to is in response to what people have dug up on Ebony K. Williams as what they consider dirt, that she's a liar. This is why she's to blame. Well, I guess they came up with some information that shows that her law license is suspended status. And they think it's some big deal, but she's giving an explanation. Let's listen to it and then come back.
What's going on, everybody? I am really excited to chat with everybody today. Yes, welcome to the room. I'm gonna give folks just a minute to pop on in here because I'm coming to you live this morning, afternoon rather. Because I hear the streets are talking and everybody's all excited. So y'all know how Auntie E is. We like to get straight to it and address, the things that need to be addressed. Good afternoon. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the room. Auntie E. It's really happy to see you. I just came back from Los Angeles on a red eye a couple hours ago, actually, and have already recorded our new episode of Holding Court. Shout out to my love, Dustin Ross. That's going to drop on Wednesday. And as I was getting back into the habit of my work week, which I'm thrilled about, got some very cool projects coming up this week, I started to kind of get inundated with DMs and inquiry around the status of my North Carolina law license. And so, and a few things before we kind of get into the tea of it all. I don't necessarily, and y'all know that I have a professional background and even a bachelor's degree in communication. So I've done crisis management and I know the vibes. I don't think that every single headline, rumor, particularly when they're patently false, need to be addressed. But I do think there is a danger and an unnecessary kind of a risk that one takes on when you allow false narrative to run amok, right? I actually call it the Romney effect. But more on that. And if you know the history of the politics there, you know what that is. Anyway, so I wanted to really come and talk to y'all. You're my family. I love y'all, everybody in this room. No matter, what your thoughts of the season are, I embrace the dialogue and I embrace the opportunity to connect so directly. So I wanted to say a couple things. Number one, y'all know this, I'm a woman of faith, right? And what I know is that desperate times can call for desperate measures. And unfortunately, this particular moment has caused some desperation for some folks. And I can empathize with that. What I'll also tell you is that Heavenly Father never said that weapons wouldn't form. He said that they wouldn't prosper. So I want to just really directly address the outstanding question as to the suspended status of my North Carolina law license. My status is suspended for one reason. It's a very simple reason. Y'all, I haven't lived or practiced law in the state of North Carolina since 2011. In 2011, I actually left the state of North Carolina and I left my beloved firm, the law offices of James D. Williams. Shout out to the great Butch Williams in Durham. Fantastic mentor to me then and now. And with Butch's blessing, I went to Los Angeles, California. California, and I spent a few years there doing a little bit of doc review, which required me to keep my North Carolina license active so I could qualify to do some discovery work in the state of California. And then in 2014, I was so blessed, as y'all saw on the first episode of Real Housewives of New York. Remember, I was running from the repo man and all the things, because all of that broadcast work that I was doing to develop a reel, right, for CNN and HLN and early hits on Fox News Channel, none of those things paid. NFL Network, those things didn't pay. And so I was doing doc review, which was about $25-30 an hour back then, which is just the most preliminary basic legal work where you're just going through documents for discovery and complicated litigation. That required a license in some state in the nation, and mine was active in North Carolina at the time. So when I decided to move to New York to be full-time in media and broadcast, which is, my life's work, and I'm so blessed to do it full-time and make a wonderful living doing it, finally. Yes, I had no desire to reinstate or reactivate my North Carolina bar license, because as any lawyer will tell you, any paralegal will tell you, anybody that's in any kind of space around the law will tell you, it's a very expensive license to maintain. You've got fees every year. In addition to the fees for the license itself, you've got continuing legal education classes and fees that are associated with it, all the things. And that's expensive. And also, in addition to the expense, it's also the time, right? You're taking time. And also, it really just makes no sense for most attorneys who are not practicing for whatever reason. Maybe they started a family. In my case, they moved out of state, to maintain an active law license in a jurisdiction that you have no intention, desire to maintain a law practice in. Because you also, when you're doing that, have to maintain insurance, malpractice insurance, because that's our ethical obligation. So it's a lot of words just to say this, y'all. I love the law. I love my career as an attorney. I loved practicing law. I no longer practice law. I've not practiced law in a full-time capacity in the state of North Carolina since 2011. And thus, I have chosen voluntarily not to pay those assessments by way of dues, CLEs, continuing legal education, and whatnot. But I want to acknowledge something. As a person who is very much now in the public eye and doing work that is hostile to many, I should have anticipated that there would be this kind of desperate attempt to discredit me. And by the way, y'all, good luck with that. You're going to have to come harder than an inactive bar license to come for me. Because the reality is I am one of the most credible people in the world. And I say that humbly. So good luck trying to discredit me. And we all know this is the desperate times call for desperate measures. The effort to discredit is based solely on the fact that I am having the audacity to bring to light and center issues that disrupt a status quo that has been the beneficiary of systems for generations that are no longer acceptable, right? That we are a nation that is now primed and ready to be receptive to the full humanity of each of our citizens. It's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be in the greatest country in the world. And I'm excited about this, y'all. I really am. I will not be deterred. So y'all keep digging, keep looking. Your girl understands. I did something I normally don't do, which is I did not anticipate the full level of the vitriol. And I should have anticipated that there would be a desperation like this that would then look for any and every little thing. So, oh my goodness, a suspended law license, which is really just an inactive law license, which makes sense for someone that no longer practices, becomes fodder for this level of gossip and frenzy. But, hate to disappoint you, it's not an issue. Unlike those who are suspended for disciplinary reasons, and that's a very serious issue, like as the case of, Rudy Giuliani, or I think also Tom Girardi. Out in Beverly Hills. So those are some examples of lawyers who have been suspended for disciplinary reasons. Thank God I enjoy an impeccable reputation as an attorney in the state of North Carolina. You can ask around about me, ask those streets, how I was as a counselor, as a litigator, and as a colleague in the law, both on the defense side and amongst my prosecutorial colleagues and judges. Oh yeah, ask the judges about me. Also, I want to tell you, for those that have so much time on their hand, I'm reading a great book right now. It's called Black Fortunes. Please check this out, y'all. This is by Shamari Wills. It's a great book. It's a beautiful story of 6 Black Americans who literally were enslaved, survived slavery, and went on to become millionaires. The American story, the American dream. Check that out, Black Fortunes, since people have time. Listen, since I have you here, I've addressed, and y'all know me, I'm very transparent. That's why I'm doing this live. I was caught slipping by way of the status. I'm owning it, and I'm fixing it, right? This is very simple. So I reached out this morning after I landed in New York, after my red eye, and I reached out to the North Carolina Bar Association to figure out what is it that I need to do to go ahead and rectify the suspended status and get something that's more accurate of reflecting where I really am, which is just an inactive status, right? And I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. This is coming straight from the bar. Bar Association tells me I need to reinstate a petition, literally fill it out and sign. 3 letters of recommendations from active lawyers in the state. Got plenty of those. I'm going to pay my 2017 membership dues, $350 payable to North Carolina State Bar. I'm going to fill out 2015 and 2016 CLE annual report saying I took no CLEs, no continual legal education classes because I'm not active. And then I'm going to pay a CLA assessment fee. I told y'all these fees, $525 payable to the North Carolina Board of CLE. And then again, an inactive petition where I designate I want to be considered inactive and I, sign. And listen, y'all, this is not about the money, right? Because, I mean, what did I talk about? That's not even $1,000. It was simply an oversight. I haven't been there in literally 10 years. And again, you know, with the public nature of my profile now and doing the work that I do, and I'm not talking about the work on Real Housewives. God bless Real Housewives. But I'm talking about the work that I do as a writer, as a producer, as a speaker, as a content creator, as a news anchor for Revolt Black News. As a host of Holding Court, my favorite thing I do on iHeartRadio. Y'all check it out every Wednesday. We drop where you get your podcasts. My credibility is everything. And again, I'm blessed and have always been very conscious of the fact that your credibility, which is your legal and professional reputation, is everything. It's impeachable. I wish y'all much luck. If you are in the business of trying to impeach me, cancel me, in some way indicate or inference that I am in any way unfit and lacking of authority to do the work that I do in the space I do it, my luck to you. You will fail. I love y'all, and I'm really actually very pleased at the amount of support that's in my inbox right now from lawyers, from paralegals, from people that have worked with me or haven't worked for me. And, you know, they know the woman that I am. They know the lawyer that I am. They know the legal mind that I am. And most importantly, they know the person that I am. So listen, I love you. I'm going to take somebody said, so sweet. Thank you. No need to explain yourself. You're beautiful and lovely. And I feel you, sis. I received that. I'm humbled by it. But I do think when someone or some entity, because I won't speculate as to where this desperate attempt has come from, when people do go out there and try to do the most, normally you let it slide, but I revere the work that I put in to graduate from Loyola Law School at 23 years old. I revere the work that I put in to work for some of the best firms in this country, to work for Louisiana Attorney General's office, to work for Louisiana Secretary of State's office, to work for Mecklenburg County, shout out to District 26, Public Defender's office, and to work for the great Butch Williams, James McElroy and Deal. You know, I can run it down for you. And every lawyer there will likely say the same, that I showed up with open heart, open mind, an unprecedented work ethic, and that continues in the work that I do today. I love y'all. I want to take 5 questions, just since I have y'all here. Let's see here. Oh, what was the name of the book I mentioned a few seconds ago? Absolutely. This is Black Fortunes. This is by the author Shamari Wills. Again, I'm just putting this out there because apparently people have a little bit of time on their hands. So go ahead and do yourself a favor and read this beautiful American success story, because that's what this is. This is 6 Black Americans that were enslaved, that liberated from that slavery and went on to become millionaires. And this was in the 1800s, obviously. It's beautiful. Here we go. Let's go to, are there any, am I friends with anyone from Fox News? Yeah, there was a young lady who I was very cool with named Morgan Ortagus. Morgan Ortagus was a contributor at Fox News at some point during my tenure there. Morgan and I are still very close. Shout out to Morgan. Gianno Caldwell, y'all know he's at Fox News. Gianno was and is a mentee of mine. He's my brother. He's my family. I have an ability, thank literally my Heavenly Father, to be in friendship and deep sister and brotherhood with individuals that I'm not necessarily politically aligned with per se. Also, I'm a registered independent, so there's that. But as long as those individuals, regardless of their politics or who they work for and in what capacity they work there, we have an alignment of the shared basic value of human dignity and human equality at every level. And that those individuals do not hold any sentiments that could be seen as or demonstrated as anti-Semitic, anti-Black, anti-Asian, anti-LGBTQ, anti-disability. So I want to say this might be National Disabilities Month or maybe the week. Shout out to those that are not able-bodied but still thrive and survive in this nation. So those are the things. If I could pick one previous cast member to come back, who would I choose? Obviously these things aren't up to me, but probably Dorinda or Carol. Let's see, one more. Sounds like a book that would have been wonderfully inspired to have on the history books in school, absolutely. I'm gonna take one more question. Oh, if I could join any other Real Housewives city, what would it be? I mean, I don't know. I literally just had drinks and a beautiful charcuterie board with my girl Crystal Minkoff last night in LA. So she's on my heart. So I'll say Beverly Hills. Let's see. Favorite moment filming. You'll have to see it. I know our mid-season Roni trailer just came out today. I haven't seen it yet. But my favorite scene was the end. Like by the end, y'all stay tuned. I understand this season is hard as fuck to watch. Trust me. It's hard for me to watch. It's really going through a lot. Y'all have to remember, we were in a pandemic. We were in the middle of the beginning of a race reckoning of our nation. We were in, and not just in a pandemic, because I know people like to say, well, what about Jersey? What about these other shows? We were in New York City, where the restrictions of the pandemic were more severe than anywhere else in the nation. And the moment we tried to push those restrictions a little bit, people got sick. So that's what happened. Let's see. Am I looking forward to the reunion? So much. I can't wait for this reunion. I can't wait for my gown. It's about to be fire. And most importantly though, right, I can't wait to have opportunities to speak with my castmates, with Andy, about all the things that made our season, for better or worse, historic, for better or worse, just one that will always be, something that I know I'll hold dear to my heart and an amazing experience for growth, personally, for me. One last question, y'all. I do enjoy talking to y'all very much. Yeah, somebody asked again, what is the administrative reason your license was suspended? Yes, dues and CLEs, as I just, responded to, and again, due to the fact that I left the state and the practice of law in that way in 2011, and have not returned, nor do I desire. Shout out to North Carolina and shout out to the practice. But, and that's, I want to speak on this just for a minute since I have y'all. The reason I don't desire to go back to practice is a wonderful, amazing thing. I love the law. It's in my spirit, really. I found out also that I have a Libra moon, which makes sense. Scales of justice, the innate sense of balance that's in me. It's like a part of my value system and identity. But the reason I don't desire to go back to practice, at least at this point in my life, is I've been able to have such incredible impact. Still speaking about very real legal issues, deferred prosecution, I talked about today on Holding Court teaser, the inherent unreliability of eyewitness testimony in trial that becomes compounded when you add a cross-racial effect. I talk about the nature of what happens, community property. Y'all, a lot of people getting married these days. It's wedding season. I love to see it. Do you understand the nature of community property? When you're for most community property states, right? Understand that when you get married in those states, your spouse becomes your fiduciary, right? And that becomes somebody who you have a fiscal accountability for, and they for you. So their fiscal choices affect yours and yours affect theirs. So understand the consequences, the legal consequences of that special walk down the aisle. Anyways, y'all, love you, love you, love you, love. Oh, somebody says, why don't I use my education to educate on shows other than entertainment shows? Shout out to you. You probably are new to my work because there's many platforms I exist on that I'm blessed to do. Check me out on Revolt Black News every Thursday. We have a new episode. Check me out on Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams. Drops every Wednesday, where podcasts were heard, specifically the iHeartRadio app. Amazing. Also on Spotify and Apple Podcast as well. I've written one book. I'm writing as we speak. It's a lot going on. I'm producing content. I'm creating content. I have a lot to share with y'all. And it's in a lot of different spaces. It's not all just law and justice. It's some stuff around young girls and how I and we can help shape their sisterhood and womanhood and identity and empower them for the next generation. Closing the wealth gap. All the things. I love you. Bye, y'all.
Not that she owed us an explanation. I think that the explanation suffices quite brilliantly, actually. She gave us a whole fee schedule and everything. We didn't deserve that, Ebony. We did not deserve it. But I'm glad that shuts the haters down. You told on your own self the amount and everything to the dollar amount. With a when you're gonna do it. Okay, we see you, Ebony. Come for me unless you send for them, right? Yeah. Right. And so that was what I wanted to share with you today, was Ebony's response to some of the information that's being dug up in an effort to undermine her awesomeness on the show and try to make her less credible in some regard, not just them not here for it. So I'm so glad that she had all of those receipts. I'm sure they would fit lovely into somebody's binder. Anyway, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.